Hello, welcome to our session about the organizational assessment. I will be providing an overview of the organizational assessment survey, which we call the OAS. But first, I just wanted to introduce myself to those of you who haven't met me yet. My name is Jennifer Middleton, and I am the Senior Director for Research and Evaluation at the Center for Trauma Resilient Communities. I also work full-time at the University of Louisville and in the Kent School of Social Work, and I run their Human Trafficking Research Initiative, and I'm also an associate professor there teaching in their graduate program. So these next few things that we're going to talk about in this presentation are really near and dear to my heart. Organizational change is one of the areas that I do research on. However, in my practice experience, before I went back to school to get my PhD, I worked as an LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Colorado in a variety of settings, a variety of types of organizations, including child advocacy centers. I worked for the state child welfare system. I also worked for a local hospital as a medical social worker. So I have seen a lot of different attempts to change culture within organizations. And I am excited now to be on this end of things and really helping support the Center for Trauma Resilient Communities and all of our backbone agencies in their work in moving forward and creating cultural change within your organizations. So I'm excited to be a part of this project. And today I'm just going to provide a brief overview of our project team as well as the OAS. So many of you know that our project team consists of a number of folks from the Center for Trauma Resilient Communities. So you'll notice in this diagram on this slide that it actually shows that you are part and central and embedded into our work. So the CTRC project team includes the CTRC's implementation team, the evaluation team with our backbone agencies right in the middle, as you can see in this diagram. And so we think this image really shows how our teams are all interconnected and how everyone is an integral part of the process. And again, as you can see, the backbone agencies are intentionally placed in the middle of this diagram because you will be receiving implementation support and resources, including training, coaching, and consultation and training. So you're a very important part. And our implementation team primarily includes some folks that you may have already met, like Brett Loftus, Tanya Blackford, Michelle Hughes, and Lena Pasquale. On the evaluation team, we have myself, Dr. Jennifer Middleton, as well as Adriana Bridges, Dr. Becky Antle, and Sarah Williams. So in working with you on your OAS on site, you will probably hear from myself as well as some other team members from the evaluation team who are assisting us with this process. So let's talk about the OAS, or the Organizational Assessment Survey. The following slides are going to provide you with detailed information about the OAS, including what it is, who completes it, and how it can be administered within your organizations. So first, I just wanted to situate you to where we are in our organizational level evaluation for our project. We've already conducted, in partnership with our backbone agencies, the readiness assessment, which it was conducted by the Center for Trauma Resilient Communities consultants, and it included them collecting information about who will be the lead, contact information, assessing the level of interest and readiness for participating in trauma resilient communities change within your organization. We also assessed leadership and had conversations and looking at capacity and resources, and perhaps a number of conversations actually occurred before we began to move forward with the training. And so the next step of the evaluation for this year includes our evaluation of the TRC model training sessions. And so you may have participated in those if you've already participated in a training session. And then you can see in the green circle, that is where we're at now. We're at the OAS stage, and all backbone agency members will participate in a baseline OAS. And as the project continues, we hope then we will do a follow-up OAS, usually about 3 years after implementation begins. So who completes the survey? The short answer is everyone, and it's confidential. So the OAS is administered to all leadership and all staff throughout the organization. It is important to include all voices and perspectives in the survey. The survey itself is confidential, so participants will just create a unique identifier that helps us track any change over time, but it won't identify who they are. And participation in the survey is completely voluntary. All data collected from the survey will remain anonymous, so it comes directly to us on the evaluation team, and we do not share anything other than the results, which will be presented in an aggregate form to protect anonymity. And so we hope that in saying this will really help encourage folks to share their experiences, to participate in the survey, to have their views included in your agency's baseline data for the OAS. So when is the OAS completed? Well, we're right here starting at baseline data collection. So your survey will begin in late January or early February. And this is all done before all of the TRC model trainings begin. So that's why we're starting early, because we really want to capture a snapshot of your organization prior to any intervention or any significant TRC model types of intervention work. So we want to show you a true reflection of your organizational culture at the start so that you'll clearly see the transformation within your organization when we reach the time for hopefully the follow-up organizational assessment. Where does the OAS take place? Well, the OAS is taken online, and it can be taken using a phone, tablet, or a computer, although a computer is preferable. We designed the survey to require primarily multiple choice and rating scales responses so that you can move through it really quickly and easily. And the survey itself takes approximately 15 minutes to complete. So it's all done online, and when you submit it, then you're done. So how is the OAS administered? Well, we are going to help you with all of the logistics. Our CTRC evaluation team will send the OAS link to staff via an email. And in doing that, we'll be able to track the emails that have completed the survey, and then we'll be able to send out reminders to those who haven't completed the survey. And our hope is that we can get everyone on board and complete the survey. So what are the benefits of the OAS? I think this is such an important topic to discuss, because this is something that's not only information for you as you're watching this, but also information you can share with others in your organization as a way to really champion or encourage others to participate in the survey itself. So the following slides describe the specific benefits of the OAS. So this talks a little bit about what information we are asking. As part of the evaluation of the TRC model implementation, the evaluation team is actually required by our funder to gather some data to facilitate our understanding of outcomes that may stem from implementation of the TRC model among our backbone agencies. So we're really required to do this form of evaluation. And in doing that, we have thought intentionally about very specific key drivers or facilitators for implementation. So some of those items you see on the slide are key drivers. Transformational leadership is one. We know that transformational leadership, when it is higher, rated higher in an organization, we are more likely to also see successful trauma-informed implementation take hold. We are also tracking potential outcomes or areas in your organization or your organizational culture that we would expect to see change. So things like the overall trauma-informed environment. So there's an environmental assessment component in the survey. Are trauma-informed values being used? Where do they reside in the organization? Secondary traumatic stress, burnout, and turnover, we would certainly hope to see those decrease over time, especially once the model has really taken hold and real culture change has occurred. And we're certainly tracking the organization's commitment to racial justice. So there is a subscale that talks about that. So those are a lot of the outcomes that we're looking at, hopefully impacting. And then, of course, we're also looking at readiness for change. Even though we did a really brief readiness assessment with the organization, we know that the level of readiness for change is really an important marker for us to help inform your initial implementation of the TRC model. So as we go forward, you can see then why we ask for this information. So we're really looking to see increases in trauma-informed knowledge and understanding of practices. We are wanting to highlight changes in application of trauma-informed values and commitments to see if they've become embedded and maybe even embodied in your organizational culture. We're looking to identify decreases in secondary traumatic stress and turnover over time as a result of potentially TRC model implementation. We're looking to measure trauma-informed organizational culture improvements. And so we do that using the environmental scale, looking at racial justice and the organization's commitment to racial justice, as well as a number of other factors. And then overall, we're really just looking to see if trauma-informed organizational change has occurred. So a lot of that is looking over time. But there are some other benefits that I really wanted to highlight for you about the OAS. So here are some benefits for your agency for doing the OAS. Number one, it really helps to inform your TRC model implementation. So the goal is that once your organization completes the OAS, we will analyze the data, present it back to you in a presentation in aggregate form, highlighting areas for potential improvement, as well as strengths within the organization based on all of those different factors that I talked about on the previous slide. And you can then take that information and use it to inform your implementation plan, which is one of your next steps once you've completed the OAS and your organization has completed the initial TRC model training. Number two, the OAS also provides baseline and follow-up data to highlight accomplishments or changes over time. So that's something I talked about on the previous slide. Number three, it really helps to highlight strengths and challenges for you to consider when you're writing future grants. And there's even data that you'll receive in this report, so findings that you could actually use in future grants, whether you're highlighting an area of need for your organization and for your staff, or your clients, or you're highlighting strengths to really show that you have the capacity to do this work based on perhaps some of the results of the OAS that you could use and include in your proposals, your grant proposals, your funding proposals. And lastly, one of the big benefits is that this is going to be conducted, the OAS is currently going to be conducted as part of a grant project. So there's no cost at all to your agency. That cost is fully covered by the grant. Organizations who contract to do an organizational assessment of this type typically will pay between $25,000 to $50,000 for each administration. And so we're really saving money and at the same time able to give you hopefully some really, really useful information to inform your TRC model implementation. So with that said, staff participation is crucial for a successful OAS, and we really want you to be successful with this. In order for the results of the OAS to be valid and reliable, we really need to see a participation rate of 80%. So that is our goal. In other words, we would hope to see at least 80% of your organization's members or your backbone agency members, so all leaders, all staff from all levels, we would want to see at least 80% of them completing the survey. And we will certainly be able to help track that for you to keep you apprised of how you're doing as you're going through the process. Because participation is so important, our evaluation team is available to provide your leadership teams and your core teams with some guidance regarding how to administer the survey in a manner that will reach the highest number of participants. And we know that the highest number of members in your agency will complete the survey if it is supported by their leaders. And when that support is made very clear, and also when space and time are provided to staff and other agency members to take the survey together. So we really know that intentionally creating that space and time to take the survey online is the biggest winner in helping us get that, achieve that 80% mark or higher. So for most of you, leadership will be inviting you to attend a Zoom session where you can then take the survey together on your work time with the support of us. So we're going to Zoom in And whether it's myself or one of my team members, will Zoom in and we'll be there to introduce the survey, answer any questions, and then get you started. And then we'll actually be there the entire time that you're taking the survey in case you have any questions or concerns. And we'll be there when you wrap up the survey so that we can process any additional questions that you have. So we're really trying to offer a lot of support in the hopes that we can bring folks together in each agency and everyone will participate in the survey and complete the survey at least an 80% rate. So just to wrap up then, the OAS is an online survey that is completely confidential. Every member of the organization, including all leaders and staff from all levels and all programs, will be invited and have an opportunity to complete the survey, and it will help to guide your agency's implementation process. It's really kind of, I think of it as a springboard or a launching off point for creating change within your organization's culture. So this is a really exciting time for your organization, and I'm excited for you to embark upon this journey with us. So if you have any questions or concerns about the OAS after you watch this video, or after you step away from this video and you think about something, feel free to contact me directly. And here is my email. It's jmiddleton@crossnor.org. I look forward to seeing you all on the Zoom and hopefully in person someday soon. Thank you for listening. And again, please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Take care. Bye-bye.